Water, 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 water.
She said.
Holds memories. Water.
She said.
Holds energy. Water.
She said.
Knows our stories. Water.
She said.
Is what we are. Water.
She said.
Is where we go. Water.
She said.
When we die.
We are hero behind the wheel. We are master behind the wheel. We surveyors behold the land behind the wheel. We travellers traverse the land behind the wheel. We are careless, we regardless behind the wheel. We are owners of destiny behind the wheel. There is still water. Water sparkles in sunlight, captured in bottles, surrounded by plastic, which the sea carries to fish and to turtles. When you find yourself in another part of the world, when foraging on beaches, leaving behind more than footsteps, bags, tampons, cigarette butts, lost socks, miscellaneous clothing, which you, as the master, carried all the way with you when you found yourself in another part of the world. Big dreams and big schemes, but when the water's gone, find yourself living in a shack, mind blind, visions of who you were dissipated like dust, blowing around the shack you have ruined, fell down the land too dry to offer its support to a derelict shack you now dream of. How do you and I work? How do you and I work this? How do you and I work this thing? How do we make Earth work for us? How do we make Earth work for? How do we make Earth? How do we make? How do we? How? We should be made to work for the Earth. A beautiful house and a trophy wife, 2.5 children, a little dog, keeping minimalist white walls tidy, under stern warning and authority, I manufacture and I propagate quietly on the sly in sanctuary, where I am the great world leader pretend, creating little fuss, no solutions, beauty and trophies, all that bothers me. Water, 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 breaking, bursting, raining, snowing, giving life, causing destruction, remembering channels we forgot, held back, dammed up, disguised, flooded, reminding us where waters flowed, as brooks, streams, rivers, rivulets, where we once lived in simpler times, as friends, as lovers, as married, living lives next to water, where we would go for everything, until the very end of time, when we finally dehydrate. Into the silent water, a lake where there is no wind, a pond without a ripple, a pool for me to swim in, a stroke, a style, butterflies, a cutting dash, splashing air, solitude without a friend, alone with silent water, the pool made blue with chlorine, chemicals burning the eyes. I am the one who survives. By lakes where there is no wind with a singeing sun, I shelter in shushed water, a star shape float, become still, a pond without a ripple. I am quiet like the earth, no longer populated. I will not scream. I made this, a pool for me to swim in. Let the water hold me down, spread its weight all over me, make me feel like someplace else, dreaming, careful I don't drown. Going back to kinder towns where I was her only boy and she was my only girl, before becoming bag of bones, before the grasses turned brown, when everything was greener, when all was young and fresher. Now desert winds have blown, across lands rolled by the crown, green hills covered all in sand, that never kiss ebbing seas. I am feeling rather down, so the water holds me down, wishing time would come and drown. Careless with our smiles, we lived our lives for pleasure. Happiness has gone. What was it I did that time? I drove off at that rash, faster, unforgiving speed, accelerating like a madman on a murdering this planet Earth drive. In so many ways not carbon neutral, in so many ways I mind metallic, in so many ways frittering resources. What was it I did that time I drove off? If only I'd thought before doing it, if only I'd thought to be more caring, if only I'd thought what am I doing at that rash, faster, unforgiving speed. It was almost as bad discarding waste, it was almost as bad not recycling. It was almost as bad as plastic seas accelerating like a madman. I could have taken care, but I didn't. I could have thought things through, but I didn't. I just did what I did because I could on this murdering our planet Earth drive. The excuses we make, same as it ever was. We excuse ourselves, same as it ever was. From engagement in chaos, same as it ever was. The warning about warming, same as it ever was. Seas growing higher, same as it ever was. Ground growing drier, same as it ever was. same as it ever was, same as it ever was. This is not my beautiful house, the one that stood high on the hill, though it stands on ground up there still. This is not my beautiful house, the one that stood high upon the hill before these torrid waters came, before I chose to take some blame. Climate chaos, a shameful pill. Before these torrid waters came, I was someone with kids and spouse. I was that material man with car, plane, financial plan. This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful house. The one that stood high on the hill, though it stands on ground up there still. This is not my beautiful house.
This bag of bones beneath this stone, this dusty, cracked, fragmented earth, this stone that carries her name in vain for a population dying, leaving no one to remember her spirit laugh mocking the lives we used to live, so careless, without thought to guide our errant behaviours. Our wanton way is with destructive forces, ruining all we treasure, all we love. This life remains for these days without my beautiful wife.
This is the life we are left with these days, these last fatalistic end days. Hold on, hang up, not so dear life. Giving up is easy for the last of we survivors, missing more than we say, the lives that passed before. Ones that are gone, ones that remain the same. Lifeless, just bag of bones with no place to call home. Nomadic, without direction, we thirst. Hunger for the old days, the bad old days we had that made these disasters happen today. Nowadays we are as cockroach, woodlice, earwig, centipede, scuttling for cover, shade, remnants of bedraggled parasols, umbrellas, hankies on our heads, headwear, our broken homes, windows shattered, doors no defence from the sun. We should hide in remaining forever days under rocks and stones. Water at the bottom of the ocean, water lashing, losing land with wild seas, water flowing ice cold from the Arctic, water rising storms crashing in motion, water changing thermals heat and then freeze, water splashing us back with freed plastic, water dousing people losing passion, water getting dirty spreading disease, water terrorizing like fanatics, water. These days everything is a fucking fag. Carry water in this heat, more like drag, and with puncture holes in the goatskin bag. And with water not always in the well, with my fragile bones watching my stomach swell, starvation, dysentery rings, ding-dong bell. It won't be long before I'm going home to face the reaper, all on my Jack Jones, to lay myself down on my wife's tombstone. Until then, all things are a fucking fag. Carry water in this heat, more like drag, and those puncture holes in the goatskin bag. Everything's a fucking fag. Waves splash pebble, pebble gets wet, wet is dried, dried by sun, sun leaves salt, salt no water, water dissolving, dissolving water, water is life, life no water, water dissolving, dissolving water. Where has it gone now? Water flowing underground, calling us to dig. With spades by moonlight, out of the glare of the sun, we thirst for water. We thirst to live life, sustained by holy water. Without it, we croak. Well, how did I get here? Into these burning grounds, full of horrid dust clouds and water shortages, where my green grass turned brown, where my lost wife once was, where my children once cried about water shortages, where blue skies hold no rain, where a yellow orb burns, where the far horizon fills with orange dust clouds, where my sore skin blisters, where there is no sweet salve for those standing here in these harsh burning grounds. Tell me, what did I do, or what I didn't do? Tell me, I want to know, well, how did I get here? What is that beautiful house? Where did it go in the storm? Why does it play on my mind? When did it mean something more? Why does it appear in white? Why does it still seem so close? How does it sound happy and bright? What is that beautiful house? Where are the people it housed? The old girl and the newborn. They appear today like ghosts. Where did it go in the storm? The house comes back more than them, mortgaged that gave it a bind, like a dress stitched to the hem. Why does it play on my mind? Outside it had a great pool, now gone, it's passed into law. I think on it like a fool. When did it mean something more? What is that beautiful house? Where did it go in the storm? Why does it play on my mind? When did it mean something more? Where does that highway go to? And where does it end? And when it ends, will it end for all of us? Will it carry on? Will life flow again like water? And if it flows, will it flow for all of us? Will it flow like water? Will it flow will it flow, will it? Where is that large automobile? The one that brought me here. The one that brought us all to this. Where is that large automobile? Was it worth it? Is it worth it? Driving the highway, driving with a beautiful wife, driving to a beautiful house, with a beautiful pool where she swims in dissolving water, where water dissolves, where water goes underground, where water hides under rocks and stones, where water hides under the ocean, a dead ocean with the last ever drop of living water. Was it really worth it?